Hey, welcome to the Sit Down. I'm your man, Rod Love, and with me this evening is none other than Lady Wynn. How you doing, Sister Wynn?
I am doing well, but just a little disappointed with
Disappointed about
the game yesterday
who
with
were you rooting for?
South Carolina.
Okay, okay, okay,
South
okay.
Carolina.
All right, because you know we got them Gators in the house now.
Yeah, I heard.
Come on now, you gotta go. Hey, when all else fails, you gotta go with Florida.
I know.
Gotta
That's
go
what
with a
my
Florida
husband
team.
said. Go for a Florida team. So I guess I'm gonna just do the chop tonight. Hope they win.
Hang on, the Gators ain't no
Oh,
chop.
wait a
What you
minute.
talking?
Gators is
Yeah, yeah,
see,
yeah.
that means
Hey,
I don't
hey,
know.
hey, Doc,
I don't
she
know.
don't know whether or not she want to chop it up or chomp it up. Hey,
Hey,
Doc, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm not a Florida fan. I ain't been a Florida fan since Vince Dooley was at Georgia.
Hang on, what? Since Vince Dooley was at Georgia,
Yeah.
Who is that?
Vince Dooley was a head coach with those Bulldogs. I don't know why he going to Bulldog country.
See, we all over the place.
No, I'm just saying that's how long it's been since I rooted for Florida.
Oh.
Before who
He
was
gives
before?
he
Hey,
gives
who?
a snapshot of how long it's been, but he uses another team in Georgia to say how long.
That,
I don't get it.
listen, because I can't remember who was Florida coach when Vince Dooley was at Georgia. Before Urban Meyer, who was it?
Before Urban Myers, because I mean, I just remember uh, um, Spurrier was
Well,
who was
before
that?
Spurrier.
Huh?
Who was before
Oh,
Spurrier?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Steve Spurrier made them Gators, man. Come on,
They had a little ball in them before then.
they did what?
I said they had a little ball in them before then.
Oh man, okay, all right. Nobody, if they had a little ball in them, nobody knew that they did. Nobody knew that they did.
But um what about you? You did something very interesting this weekend. I'm very proud um of you holding a discussion, a leadership discussion. You and Dr. Nelson, and you are bringing much needed attention to African American men stepping forward in leadership. And we always talk behind the scenes about building a bench. And I looked at that and I'm saying, okay, now we're starting to get it. We're starting to get it that we don't all have to do the same thing. We just have to agree what the same problems are.
Boy, so you, hey, so with your weekend and all the other things that you that you could have been doing, you were surfing. Because the only way he knows about that is he had to be surfing LinkedIn and
No,
social
but
media.
now see, that's not true because I went to
Well,
the
you was out
Maitland.
and about
Hey,
this weekend.
that's right. I went to the Maitland Jazz and Blues
Okay.
Festival. I had a nice time. Sat out there, then went in and hung out with my relatives. Something we rarely do because most of us are old now, So we got all the other things that's occupying our time.
But what Doc is talking about, and he is right. Man, it seems like this whole week has just been one thing after the other. And when I say one thing after the other, just direct engagement, having conversations with leadership and law enforcement around Central Florida, talking to, and here's the interesting thing, talking to young people about how they view today. And when I say young people, I'm talking about high schoolers, junior high schoolers. But one of the things Dr. Nelson and I participated in, and he was the keynote speaker, was Commissioner Wiggins out of Sanford, Florida, and Brett Henderson over in Sanford, Florida.
Okay.
They convened a forum, and that forum was specifically geared toward young black men. Well, you know what? Let me take black out of that. Young men, because there was a rainbow color of men at this event, and this was to build leadership of
Okay.
young men. But the other part of it was to challenge. I'm gonna just say old fools like myself. Challenge fathers, no matter what color you are. Challenge fathers to be engaged and involved in your children's lives. But in addition to that, it challenged men to be involved in their community. And I got to give a shout out to Commissioner Kerry Wiggins and also Britt Henderson, because these guys are working for profit and they're finding a way to operate. And for those of you, and I know I have it on my phone somewhere, but for those of you who are interested in supporting programs that work.
So how was the feedback from the young men?
The feedback from the young men was excellent. They articulated very well. As a matter of fact, they had a young man who basically facilitated and led the discussion about the forum. And I mean,
oh wow,
they did an excellent job, man. Did an excellent job.
That's awesome.
And you know, I'm remiss because Kerry Wiggins, I mean, the things that he's doing over there is something that we need to see grow throughout the state of Florida, through in other communities. But here's the hook. And I say this with all sincerity, and Doc, you know where I'm coming from with this. Ms. Wynn, you know, I would implore government to get out of the way. And I see government, yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it. You know, we already fighting battles in communities trying to get young people on the right track. And I'm going to go and I'm going to subscribe to something Ronald Reagan said. Government should be the car. The people are the ones who drive and guide the car in the direction that it needs to go. If government just stops being a hindrance, and what I mean by hindrance, and it may not be intentional, but there's funding that government gives.
Okay, so let me ask a question now, and y'all know me. I'm one of them people that I'm always looking at things from different angles. How can we circumvent government's involvement and maybe go to corporations and other entities and NGOs and get them involved into funding these initiatives and these programs? Because for some reason I can't understand the reluctance to have everyone fully engaged in the American dream. We act like there's a scarcity in this country of resources and income, and it's not. You have the gatekeepers who are falsely keeping this system the way that it is. If we have productive citizens across the broad strap, that benefits everybody.
Yeah, but you know what, Doc? I mean, when you talk about circumventing, let's take that out of vocabulary, because unfortunately we can't circumvent government. Government has a role to play, and one of those roles is they collect the tax dollars, fund those initiatives that need to be funded. And yeah, you got to regulate it, but God dog, don't regulate it with tedious regulation that really reduces and prohibits people from actually getting the job done. Right. You know, I don't mean to sound like the Republican that I am, but God dog, come on. We got enough on our hands trying to get things done. I think government has a role to play. I think it can play a role, but don't be a hindrance.
Well, I tell you this, I don't believe in government's involvement because I can't think of a damn thing the government gets right. The minute they put their hands on it, I'm sorry, I'm not being facetious or mean-spirited, but the private sector is always where you turn when you really want something to run much better.
But Doc, you're right. But I have seen government operate efficiently under great leadership. And that's, I'm going to go homegrown in a few minutes when we introduce our guest, because our guest she's from where I'm from. And she has a mayor that, man, he's getting the job done. And I'm not going to say where yet. I'm going to wait a second before we bring our guest on. But bottom line is, and for those of you who are watching the sit down is intended to bring folk in so that you can see what's happening in local communities all around the state of Florida. And sometimes we even bring it to you outside the state of Florida. And we have Doc Polite, one of my co-hosts. He's the executive producer of this show. Doc is real cranial, and when we go into areas dealing with mental health and all that kind of stuff, I just shut up because Doc knows how to take the helm. And we also have Sister Wynn, who her forte is she knows how to operate various programs from the functionality aspect of it. She knows how to bring the folk in to perform the unique trainings, but whether it's a mentoring program, educational programs. Man, you even participating on the responsible fatherhood. You just getting all world round.
I am, and it's amazing because it helps me in my own life with what I'm going through with my son. So I told my husband, to me, it would be a disservice if I did not let him know what's going on and how to get involved and what you need to do. Then on the flip side, I get the moderate to make sure he's there.
Hey, that's right on point. That's right on point. Hey, but you know what? Man, without any further ado, because we could snap our fingers and this show would be over. And I feel a certain kind of way because I haven't had any guest on our show that's from where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And so, man, this gives me great pride and honor. And man, this is just an incredible opportunity because, and I'll give a little background later as we bring this person on the show. But man, without any further ado, I want to bring Miss Janice Wooden on the sit down. Miss Janice, how are you doing?
How you doing? I'm sorry, I had it muted. How you doing?
Doing great. Hey, thank you for joining us. Let me tell you, we have fun here. Sometimes we go a little deeper than some folk think we should, but I want to thank you and welcome you on the show because, man, when I was growing up, and see, it was called Carol City back then.
Yes.
Now it's called, now they done got big and fancy on me. Now it's called Miami Gardens. Yeah. But Miss Janice, let me kind of give a little background for those who are watching the show.
Okay.
I was talking to my mama last week, and my mom started talking about this woman who comes and does her hair every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And she says she won't let me give her nothing. I say, Mama, who is that? And she said, you remember Miss Dismute? I said, yeah. Miss Dismute is a woman I'll never forget. That happens to be Miss Janice's grandmother. May she rest in peace. Such a nice, wonderful woman. She worked at the daycare center for my mother. And man, I tell you, she started talking about Janice, and it made me pick up the phone and just call Miss Janice and say, thank you. But you know what, Doc and Miss Wynn? Miss Janice started talking about the village and what she remembered with my mother and our community growing up. And I was like, man, that's what we talk about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Janice,
Yes.
and my co-host, I know they're going to jump in on this as well. But one, thank you for what you do, because it's not just for my mom, but I had to get into this, Miss Janice, because you started talking about the village.
Yes.
Talk to us. What is it that compels you to do what you're doing for our elderly?
Well, first of all, one day I'm going to be an elderly. I'm 52. I'm right there now. But, I just thank God because that's so important. These are the people that paved the way.
Yeah.
And Miss Love was definitely one of them. And y'all like family to us. And I'm grateful to still have these people in my life because we don't have that many left.
Yeah.
So I feel that, I want to honor them while they're here, get them their flowers while they're here. Mm-hmm. And not only doing that makes my heart merry. I also learn a lot. And I was just telling my husband, Miss Love is not the only one I do, but I actually want to start something for the elderly because they, as they get older, things change. Older people really don't get their hair washed. They don't get their hair done.
Right.
And not only, when I do their hair, that's time they get a chance to reflect. It's also a time of relaxation. They get a chance to relax and also get a chance to look pretty at the same time. So
There you go. Hey, now you know my mama like to look
yeah,
pretty.
yes. One thing about Miss Love, and I always compliment Miss Love is a petite woman, no stomach. I say Miss Love. This lady has the body of a teenager. I'm talking about y'all. She has this cute little shape. Miss Love probably well like a size 2.
Boy.
And she still look good. I always tell her, I said, Miss Love, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Mama love.
Yes.
Hey, and Janice, you know, my mother had a daycare center in the neighborhood.
Yes.
And boy,
she raised everybody.
Everybody.
Wow.
Oh, still to now. Miss Love even drives. She's still driving at 85 years old.
Really?
And everybody still talk about Miss Love because she has helped so many people, and still to this day, you know, it also feels good to hear about other people checking on her because she really had raised the village. A lot of times when children came to the daycare, even if their mother didn't have it, she still allowed them to come. She fed a lot of kids. She did so much and still doing to this day. So I'm grateful and honored to do that for her. It feels so good. I enjoy it, and it makes me smile. And also I think about my grandmother. I know she's smiling, looking down on me. So it's a pleasure.
Wow.
It's a pleasure.
Wow.
Hey, so Janice and Doc and Miss Wynn, I want y'all to jump in, but Miss Janice, tell me, what did the village mean to you growing up? Because Carol City, we had a village there.
We had a village, yes. I mean, you know, the discipline, you know, and I miss that because I even tell my kids, you know, back then, if I was somewhere I had no well-being, somebody else saw me, I know they're gonna tell me. So you knew better. It's like certain things you just didn't do because whether mother is there or not, mother's still there because somebody gonna say something. So, you know, back then, just even how we cared about what we represent when it came down to our family. And if I know Miss Love, and everybody know I know Miss Love, that's Miss Dismuke, Miss Dismuke granddaughter. She be at the nursery. Oh, so I had to be a certain type of way, and I thank God, like I said, because not only did the village, they practiced what they preached. We saw how they did. You know, we saw how they were hardworking women and men. You know, and all the children, you know, just how everybody looked out for each other. You know, if somebody baked the cake, they made sure you got a slice. If you didn't have any bread, I got some bread. If you don't have any eggs, it was just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I miss it. I thank God. I kind of still got the same thing in my neighborhood because I'm very close to my neighbors and we do that. We look out for each other. But that's important because even if my mother wasn't there, I know she knew. Half the time we was at the nursery. My mom had work. We was at the nursery.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time it was that way. Miss Love May watched us. We were there until our parents were home. I mean, it happened like that. And not only that, when I noticed in the neighborhood, when the kids, those who didn't have their parents, Miss Love kept them on the right track. They'll come talk to Miss Love. Miss Love helped them, whether it was a job, it was things that she did. And that's what the village did for each other. Not only did we help out, the parents help out their own kids. They made sure everybody's kids were straight. If they could, and they were manable, the village didn't mind helping.
Well, Ms. Janice, on that note, how do you think technology and social media have impacted?
Oh my God, it's definitely I feel that the children, not only children, people don't have people skills anymore. They don't know how to communicate because of social media.
Right.
You know, and also I feel like we're living in a world where social media has had people who may not know, they'll go Google it, and now they think we got Google doctors, we got AI doctors who maybe didn't even, you may finish school, but half of them didn't even know what they learned. They didn't learn the hard way, and it's something about, I wish they get rid of some of it. Not all of it is, you know, but too much is too much of social media. It's too much.
Anti-social behavior. Yeah.
The communication. Now, there are things on here that's good, but there are a lot of bad things too.
That is true. That is true.
Well, it's always been. Let me jump in here. It's always been bad. We just have it broadcast now.
Yes.
And because if we honest, we think about the thugs and people that were in the neighborhood, but the difference is if you didn't belong with them, they made sure you didn't get with them. You couldn't hang out And you know, they tell you go home, school girl, go home, school boy.
Yes, yes.
But we don't have that now.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be a predator
Yeah.
in some
Hey,
way.
Doc, we have a caller into the show. Caller, thank you for joining us. What's on your mind?
How you doing?
We're doing great. What do you think about this conversation?
I
With,
love it. I love it. I'm here with Miss Love right now.
oh, this is my sister. That's my sister.
This is a conversation that was much needed. Much needed. And this month, Miss Love will be celebrating her 86th birthday.
Yes, yes.
And every year on her birthday, when I tell you the neighbors, the community, they show up and they show out.
Hey, Lisa, can you tell everybody where the party's gonna be at this year for Mama Love?
The party is at the old Happy Day Nursery. Where it
Yes.
is every year.
Wow. 86 is still driving.
86.
And they do come out. They come out. I see them. I be there every year, and it's a reunion for all of us, the whole neighborhood.
Oh yeah. Hey, Miss Janice, I gotta give my sister some credit because she had that soul food coming.
Yes, yes. I'm gonna
And
be
the
on
day
time.
before-
I was late. I got a little bit of it. I was late, but
You got a little bit. Hey, Lisa. Hey, put Mama on the phone. Put Mama on the phone real quick. Let Mama give a little shout out.
Hello.
Hey, Mama Love.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Fanning.
Hey, guess who's on my show tonight?
Ooh.
Hey, your hairstylist, Miss Janice. Hey, she up here talking about how you don't have no stomach and Mama Love, you know,
She wearing
styling
a
and
size 2.
profiling.
I don't know what she doing. I need her eating habit.
So you doing good, Mom?
I am fine.
She say she
She
fine.
said she fine.
She ain't looking good. She fine.
Hey,
She
Mama,
really
you ready
is,
for
though.
the
She
party
really is
next week?
fine.
Yes, I've been rehearsing my dance.
You been rehearsing your dance?
Right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Miss Janice says she can't wait to see you for the birthday party. And Miss Janice is really giving us some real good insight, Mama. She's giving us some insight about what the village used to be with you, Miss Dismute, Miss Doris, man, the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you know, she didn't start talking about the penalties for coming in that fence when the street lights go off.
Uh-oh.
No, that ain't happened. Mom, you know, Miss Brown, my mom ain't played out there. I never made it out the gate.
And Janice said she never made it out of the gate.
Mama, so I didn't.
But Mama, we're having that conversation, and you know, it just makes me proud that you part of this conversation because you and man, I tell you, Doc Polite and Miss Wynn, we always talk about we are really, and this is not to be critical, but at the same time, it is to be critical. Man, we just hoping and praying for the men to start standing up and stepping up, because not only will they make our community safer, but they're gonna have these young people looking at what they're supposed to be.
Yes.
So Mama, thank you and Lisa for calling in, but we're gonna get back to Miss Janice so she can continue to tell us about the village, but we're gonna ask her, how do we rebuild that village too?
Well, can I say one thing?
You can say whatever you want to say, Mama.
Ask Miss Janice if me and her grandmother was part of a private police force.
If you and her grandmother was what now?
A part of a private police force.
Hey, Miss Janice, my mama say your grandmother and her was part of the private police force when we were
Yes.
growing up.
Yes.
She said, yes, indeed, Mama.
All right. Well, we thank you for letting us speak, and we'll see you at the end of the month. Y'all
All right.
have a good day.
Okay,
All right,
Lisa.
you too.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye. Miss Janice, they the private police was that belt.
Oh, okay.
thank God I was scared of whoopings. Thank God Miss Love ain't never had to spank me. Thank
Man.
God.
Hey, but Miss Janice, you know what?
Yeah.
On this show, we like to have fun. We like to talk about, as you can see, problems, but we also like to come to the table with solutions.
Yes.
What's some of those solutions that you would contribute in? And let me add this before you start. Last week, a good friend of mine, and I'm gonna just say my brother, we were in Tallahassee doing a legislative session. We were walking the halls, talking to legislators on the House and in the Senate. We were listening to policy being advocated for, but we were also watching how that money is being divided and spent. And we happened to run into the mayor of Miami Gardens, and I'm proud to say Mr. Rodney Harris is doing a hell of a job for the city of Miami Gardens. And I tell you, if I was in Miami-Dade, he'd get my vote. But what would you say we need to do to start rebuilding that village?
Well, actually, me and my husband, we have to start speaking to the youth because that's something that we do because we've been married 30 years now. So we do a lot of counseling, whether they're couples or married couples. And even with me, just not only with Miss Love, I have young girls I talk with because they need somebody to talk to.
Yes.
That's what's going on in the world. A lot of people don't have anybody to talk to. And once they have somebody to talk to share with them, to show them the way, because that's the problem. Everybody, a lot of times because of social media, people looking at social media and thinking that everything should be this way when nobody's not teaching. We just seeing something on the screen and that this how it is, but nobody's not teaching. So I think that it's very important, even with my age. I make sure whatever I learned and whatever I know, I make sure I share it with somebody. I remember when we were growing up, if you knew a good plumber, you share it with somebody else who have that, and that's how me and my husband. If you need a good plumber, you call Janice. I know Janice. No, yeah, this person is you could count on them. So I think we need to get that village back by communicating more with each other because now we're living in a time where they're neighbors but they don't speak.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm grateful that my community, and when people come in, I get a chance, I meet them, and I'm real close with my neighbors. And I make sure I let them know, like if they have a meeting or something going on in my neighborhood, a crime, I'm like, listen, y'all need to be out to meetings. So half of them, they may be working because I work. I'm a home-based person, so I make sure I share it with them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's something that we got to start by doing, sharing information, because everybody want to keep everything to themselves. It wasn't like that back then. Everything we did, we shared. Like I said, whether it's food, whether it's, I watch your children, or share my time. I'm a volunteer. So it's so important for us to do that again. And that's something that I'm grateful that I'm able to do. I'm in a place that I can do that. And I teach that to my kids because that's the only way that we're going to be able to build. We just can't keep everything to ourselves. And that's the generation we're living in. That everybody's trying to keep I ain't gonna tell them about this. If I know any little program, I make sure I go even at my mom's church. I love how New Way do a lot with the elders, but they have people come out and talk about different programs for the elderly.
Yeah.
That's important. So I make sure I stay on top of that. I can share.
Ms. Janice, information is powerful, like you said, and
Yes.
you just mentioned church, and I mean, we do a lot of collaboration with the faith community. What church was that you just named?
New Way does a lot. That's not my church, but when I know like on Wednesdays and Thursdays during the weekday they have they call it it's called headliners, healthy headliners.
Okay.
So they had a doctor come in about the osteoporosis, they have different doctors come in, or they have different people who speak concerning the health, or if any programs out there. So I make sure I go and I be learning a lot, and I bring it home and I share with other people.
Boy, that's
I
good.
like that, and I think that's important. Not only that, me and my husband, he's a part of the we call it RCL. I live in Rolling Oaks, so we go out to the meetings and find out different programs in our neighborhood or what's going on, and that's important. So what I learned, I share with other people, and I just make sure I tell everybody share with somebody else, because that's the problem that we're missing.
We're not. What? I love you part of a team, and I've heard maybe a dozen times already she mentioned her husband. We need to get that husband in one of them seats that you're sitting in right next to you.
He's right here. He's right here sitting.
Hey, well, tell him to pull that chair next to you, because you know what?
Next to me, baby.
I'm impressed. This is a husband and wife team.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Doc, what you think of that, man?
You know, that's what it's supposed to be. It's not. It shouldn't be daylight between a couple, especially married. You should be on one accord.
Yes.
But unfortunately, what happens in this day and time, you often have people who are not in the marriage.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of relationships are failing. And
Mr. Wooden and Doc, I appreciate you. Mr.
Yes.
Wooden, hey man, you have come up so much in this show that we had to pull you in. And then you know what? Doc, you got something? You were about to say something, Doc?
No, go ahead.
But man, I tell you, when your wife has been talking about the service to community, and she's continuously said, me and my husband, and brother, I got to tell you, that's something that we need more of. So what's your thoughts, man, about continuing to build this village that we once had?
Well, believe it or not, that is definitely the foundation of how we became who we are. We don't. I always never like to lose sight of the foundation, because so many times we forget. As we age, we get older, we get more experience in life. A lot of us have education. A lot of us have gone on to do great things, and we attribute a lot of our success to education, to experience. And we forget about the foundation, that it was the foundation that had us in the state of mind to even go get an education. It was the foundation that had us in the state of mind to even pursue a career or to even be a family man. So if we forget the foundation, we attribute our successes to a lot of other things versus the true value that was placed in us, that even gave us the state of mind to go do the things that we now have accomplished.
Man, that's powerful. Hey, let me ask this question. Y'all, how long y'all been married?
30 years.
What's the key?
Altogether.
What's the key? What do you think? If you had a room full of young people that have been married 5 years and less, what would you as a couple tell them?
Well, I could tell them several things, but one thing I always say, you got to have the centerpiece, and the centerpiece from where I've come and where we've come, our centerpiece has been Christ.
Yeah.
Right. I know that some people, a lot of time we throw that out there casually, but I say it has to be real. It has to be sincere.
See, I knew y'all were a couple. I knew y'all were a couple of faith, because putting Christ in the center is how you make it that long. Yeah. Most people, when you talk to them, it's not us. We have God, and he becomes the centerpiece of what we do. We look at God, not each other. And, me and my wife, we've been married for 20 years, and we certainly know that. And that's good that you model that for your community. Along with everything else you're doing. So again, thank you.
Yeah, because that village, man, that's the foundation.
And we share. I was telling them how we counsel. We counsel at least.
I heard
two
you ask
couples
my
a
wife.
week. Yeah.
I heard you ask my wife what do you think? How can we rebuild the village? I say about one family at a time.
Yeah. One family at a time. Yeah. You're right.
One house at a time, because the downfall of where we've come, where we are, as I meant to say, one of the downfalls is the separation of the home. When husband and wife have, or either the man is no longer in the home, we didn't see the devastation that it did. And a lot of what happened was, we've got tricked into accepting a lot of government handouts. Granted, there were times it was needed in certain situations, right, but it wasn't always needed, and it was because it was easy to accept a handout from the government as long as there was no man in the home. Yeah. And what it did, we didn't see the effects of it, because you're not going to see it till about 20, 30 years later. Yeah. That's where we are now. We're seeing the effects of the home being separated, being split into, No male figure in the home, so there's no discipline. The young men do as they please. The girls, without guidance of their fathers, go astray, and we find ourselves with a society that's out of order.
Hey man, hey Mr.
Right.
Wooden, hey man, I'm gonna invite you when I come home and have Thanksgiving with my family. When I start talking about government, and I'm gonna say this is nonpartisan, but I just happen to be the only Republican around the table on Thanksgiving. And when I start talking about government and the handouts, man, they jump on me like I don't know what. So I need some help.
You know why? Because you got to invite them through the back door. So many times we walk into a situation, we walk into it through the front door. We don't see what's in the back.
Yeah, you're right.
And until you go around the back, you ever went to a restaurant to eat? Front of the restaurant look beautiful. The area where the customers sit, clean, gorgeous. Go in the kitchen. And if you go in the kitchen, you may walk out of there just as fast as you. You know why? Because the kitchen will tell you how clean the place is.
Yes, you're right.
Most of the time when you're talking to a people, they take them through the back door. They don't see the plots. They don't see what's thrown out there because a lot of time is hidden until it's too late.
Yeah.
So we have
That's a good analogy.
That's a hell of an analogy.
I'm gonna steal
look
that.
beyond what they put in our face, because what they put in your face is because that's what they want you to see.
That's
You're
what.
right. You're right.
Hey, by the way, my mom speaks very highly of you, and now I see even more so why.
Well, I'm thinking.
Hey, but I
This
did
love
hear.
been around a long time.
Hey, but I did hear something that she said to you 30 years ago.
I know what you're talking about.
You must know.
Hey, you must. Hey, I did hear about something my mom said to you 30 years ago.
Indeed. Indeed.
He said he'll never forget that too. He said, but he proved it wrong. He said,
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Still here. But you know why she said it? You know why she said it? Because of the person that I used to be, the reputation that I had.
Okay.
Miss Love didn't know you. She
But
knew your
maybe I thought she may have heard.
No, Miss Love,
You know
you
what I mean?
don't hurt me.
But see, the difference, what I tell people was, I was sincere, I was devoted, I was dedicated to the things of God. Unlike a lot of people, I wasn't casual with it. I didn't just use it as a crutch as a means to taking advantage of situations, because a lot of times you're in a conversation, people hear you're a Christian, people hear you go to church, they tend to give you favor automatically. I didn't want that. Everything I got, I earned. I did the right way. I walked the walk. I lived the life. I became an example, not only to my wife and kids, but to people that I know, family members, co-workers. And I tell my wife all the time, my wife will tell you, so many times, many of us, we have a title without a testimony.
Man.
See, we want the title, but what about the testimony? Because the testimony is what validates the title.
Yes.
If anybody, you around here talking pastor this, bishop this, apostle that, at church, but the minute you leave, ain't nobody can verify, can't nobody vouch for your character, can't nobody speak highly of you, of the things you're doing outside of ministry, we got a problem.
Boy. Hey, Doc, I know you just on the edge of your seat. I know you're on the edge of your seat, Doc.
I'm gonna let the brother have the flow because he preaching. Hey, because man, listen. You were telling me I ain't doing nothing this weekend. I wrote a book. I finished writing a book, and it's called. Y'all forgive me, but I'm gonna tell you, it's called "The Realest Shit You'll Ever Read," and it's about that same thing, about that character. Where did you? And it's to 20-year-old black men. I wrote this book because we don't understand the value and the currency of character.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
We don't understand it. Now I don't cuss. Rod will tell you, you know, I always tease him when he get mad and you know.
I never get mad. I never get mad.
Yeah,
I might get perturbed, but I don't get mad.
And see, I used hey, he'll call me. I'm in the car with my wife and my mom, and I have to tell that joker, my mama in here. And he talking about my Miss Green, I don't cuss. I say shoot, but you know, anyway, we have lost character in our community. That was the glue, y'all. The character of the people.
Yes.
They meant what they said and said what they meant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
You know, if they said, I'm gonna tell your mama,
And they were gonna do it.
they was gonna come down there
Mhm.
and say, Miss Brown, I saw Janice out there talking to them boys,
Mhm.
and it was getting dark. Now I just want to let you know because I'm looking out for her.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now when you try to intervene, that child will cuss you out, and then the mama come down the sidewalk and cuss you out.
Yes. Yes.
That's not it.
Mm-mm.
That is not the recipe for success in our communities. We are not teaching that. We have to know that everybody can bring value to the table.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we have to expect that and use that because character is everything.
You're right.
It is everything. When
And,
I walk
wait,
into
go ahead, Miss Wynn. Go ahead, Miss
And
Wynn.
that goes to a point what Doc just said. Miss Janice is going to say it in front of you,
Mhm.
not behind your back. She's
Yeah.
gonna say
Yep.
it in front of you
Yes.
to let you know I see you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and people don't understand how powerful that is. See,
Yeah.
you call me and talk about somebody, I'm gonna say, "Oh, hold on, let's get them
You
on the
call
phone."
Yeah.
See, if people don't like they don't like accountability like that,
Yeah.
then why did you call me talking with this person? You know that's not me.
Mhm.
If because and Rod will tell you, if Doc say it, now he gonna say it again and in your face. I'm pick up the phone and call you and tell you.
But here's the point, and to the Wootens, here's what I want to ask you. On my Facebook page right now, there's a late lunch that me and Attorney Greg Jackson did yesterday with two gentlemen that I highly respect. Sometimes we get to a point in place, and yeah, we all don't have to play nice with each other. We can agree to disagree. But what we need to get back to, as well as we had a disagreement, and maybe I don't talk to you for a month,
Yeah.
but at some point, because of the value and the character that I know people have, man, we need some of those intermediaries, if you would, that can bring people back together because, man, there's a lot of value. So let me ask you two, how would you recommend that we got some players out there that are of high value to their community, and for whatever reason, they're going in different directions. When they come together, you can see the community rise. What would you say to that? How do we bring people back together?
You want to go first, or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
I mean, I can speak several things, but I'll tell you one of them. And it's again, there's a lot of time we say a lot of cliches. We say a lot of things that's what we're supposed to say because that's what people anticipate we're supposed to say.
Yep.
I stand like this. First of all, do I care? You got to make sure the people that we're speaking to, that we're looking to extend help from, we want their help. Do they care?
Yeah.
Because if they care, I found out a long time ago, they may know a lot too, because what we want them because of what they know. They have information, they have knowledge of a certain thing or whatever it is we're looking to have. They know a lot, right? But I found out people don't care how much you know until they find out how much you care.
How much you care? You're right.
Wow.
You're right.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Once you care, you tend to do things a little bit more with effort. You tend to, even when it get a little rough, you don't quit so fast. You don't turn your back on things.
Man, you preaching.
You
Man,
care.
preaching. You preaching.
When we attract these people, when we looking to adopt somebody to assist us, first of all, do you care like I care?
Yeah.
Because if we
gonna
got
make
two
me
people,
drive
that's
down
how
there.
we make it. I care for her. She care for
Hey,
me.
Doc, say that again.
Right. He gonna make me drive down to Miami and follow him around with a tape recorder. Because, man, you dropping some nuggets.
Yeah.
I mean, some nuggets.
Yeah.
And not 14 karat gold, but platinum nuggets.
I'm serious,
Because
man.
this is the voice we need talking to every community.
Yes.
Need a Mr. Wooden and a Miss Wooden that's standing there
Catch
and,
me on
and
the Sunday.
saying, here's the standard.
Catch me
Here's
on
the
Sunday.
standard. Here's the standard.
Hey, Miss Janice, I
Yeah.
gotta tell you, hey, no matter what my mom said 30 years ago, you got yourself a winner right there. You got yourself a
Yes,
winner.
but you know that's true,
That's
because
what
I
I
always
did.
tell people about people who do hair. I said, yeah, they may do good hair, but do they have a passion for it?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's just like growing a plant. You know, in order to grow a plant, you know, some people are like, oh, they got that green thumb. No, it's the passion, it's the love behind it. So there are a lot of people, even now in the communities, because I know a couple people who started stuff. You know, I got this. They had this idea. Oh, I'm going to get these women, these girls together, but it was a lot of foolishness because they was looking at what grant money. So sometimes a lot of people don't really have the passion that they should have. It sounds good. They, like he said, they got the education. They know how to get the money, but in the end, sometimes things turn out a whole nother way. And another thing too, it's so important that the parents really have to learn how to be parents. Everybody want to be a friend instead of a parent.
Oh,
So
yeah,
even
you're right.
communities, even on the committees now, some of these committed, you know, the community leaders, you bringing on a friend, but do they really know how to do the job? Do they have a passion to do the job? So that's what's going on.
Hey, Doc, she preaching that. She preaching that.
Nobody has passion. Nobody don't really want. They want to do it for the wrong reason, to get the limelight or to get the money. And that's what
I got to go.
That's what's going on. That's why we don't have what we used to have, because like we said back then, they said what they meant.
Yes.
You know, and we respected that because we know that we knew their character. We knew, you know what? Oh, you know what? She not only do that, she said that to me, but she has said to anybody else.
Man. Hey, let me say this. We gotta. I hate that we gotta wind down, but hey, we gotta have you back. And Doc, Miss Wynn, we gotta figure out what forum we want to bring them back, because I'm sitting up here and I'm imagining having different communities on here and to start comparing notes about how do we rebuild this village. But one of the things Mr. Wooten said that really stuck with me, when he said, you know, you got some folk, are they willing to stand with you? Because what I see now, particularly with the younger generation, when they fall down, they stay down, unfortunately. Remember, our parents taught us, when you fall down, you get right back up and try it again. And so this is what we needed. Mr. Wood, you was about to say something. I'm sorry.
No, I was just listening to what you're saying, and just to add a piece to what you're talking about with the young generation. A lot of times they lack structure, right? And see, we have to look at, see, when you're talking building, we use building terms. One of the terms I like to use when we're talking about building, putting something together, the structure, right? Foundation is one of them. The structure is another. And what you say, well, Brother Ron, what are you referring to? If I wanted to build something, I got a solid foundation, right? I started out with that. But then I get cheap, I run out of money. My money is getting a little funny. So instead of me going to get a steel beam, I use PVC. I can still build with it, but it won't stabilize. It won't be as strong, right? Because the piece, the material that I chose, I didn't choose the best quality. I didn't choose the strongest. I didn't choose what I should have chose for whatever reason. So I chose something that'll get me by, but ain't as durable. It's not as strong. So when the pressures of life, the cares of this world, when situations hit them, they ain't got nothing in them to stand.
Man,
the structure is fragile.
Hey, you preaching, and I appreciate how the strength that both of you are bringing to the table. But one thing I know I'm gonna definitely start doing, if I can, I'm gonna start checking out them kitchens. I'm gonna see how clean them kitchens are.
I use that analogy. Believe it or not, I am a food professional. That's my profession. And trust me when I tell you.
What tell you what, I look forward to seeing y'all during my mom's 86th birthday.
We haven't missed one yet.
Yeah, sure have it. Yeah.
All right, with it, you know we're gonna eat and enjoy and fellowship. But hey, once again, thank you both for coming on the sit down. You're always welcome, but we got to figure out how do we develop this forum where we bring other communities to the table to contribute. How do we rebuild this community? Because one thing for sure, we're in a rebuilding stage.
Yeah.
And if you're in a rebuilding stage, that means what? That means something has happened to the village.
Yeah.
We
So-
gotta lay this foundation back.
You're right. So once again, hey, thank you for joining us on the sit down.
Thank you all for having us. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
It's been an honor and a privilege. And for those of you who are watching the sit down, hey, tune in every Monday at 6 p.m. We're going to bring it to you, and we're going to bring it to you strong. For those of you who are tuning in for a little bit of more straight talk and strong talk, tune in to Let's Talk Nation. You'll have Attorney Greg Jackson and myself. But once again, hey, home team. I can't say nothing else. Hey, but I got to say Carol City, which is now Miami Gardens, and that's my home team. I always love it. Hey, y'all take care of yourselves.
Take care.
You too, everybody. Nice
All right.
meeting everybody.
Nice meeting y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.